What's up everybody, Mark with Coffee&Toys here bringing you another Masters of the Universe figure unboxing and review. And today we have the first figure that I have purchased from the new cartoon collection of the Masters of the Universe. Is it still called Origins? Anyway, the first of the cartoon collection, and today we will be reviewing Skeletor. Let's talk about it. So yes, this is the first figure I have purchased in this new cartoon collection lineup consisting of He-Man, Man-at-Arms, Beast-Man, and Skeletor, with Wave 2 including Teela and Trapjaw. Now, I actually pre-ordered all of these on Entertainment Earth, and for whatever reason, I think a lot of people are getting all the figures right now, but Entertainment Earth just shipped me Skeletor, so I'm kind of surprised. But if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name's Mark, I'm with Coffee&Toys, and what I do is I'm primarily an out-of-box action figure collector from things I liked from when I was growing up from the 80s and early 90s. And that includes Masters of the Universe, Star Wars, G.I. Joe, wrestling figures, just kind of anything that catches my fancy. I also do reviews of G.I. Joe and Transformer comics. So if you like that kind of stuff, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you set the subscribe button to all notifications, that pretty little bell icon, and make sure you comment, because I'm really interested in knowing if you guys are interested in picking up this cartoon collection version of Skeletor and all the figures in the Masters of the Universe lineup. That being said, we're going to look at the figure in the package, we're going to talk about it a little bit, and then I will unbox the figure and we'll accessorize it, we'll do some comparisons, and then I'll tell you what I think about it and whether I recommend you at home pick it up. But that being said, let's head on over and check out Skeletor, the Evil Lord of Destruction. Okay, here we have it. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, Skeletor, Evil Lord of Destruction. And as you can see, this is part of the cartoon collection, 80s Adventures. I'm really liking this. The card art obviously representing He-Man, the Masters of the Universe, the 1980s cartoon series. You can see the classic artwork of Castle Grayskull in the background with Skeletor in the forefront. Wow, yeah, getting all the nostalgic feels just from the card art itself. Of course, Skeletor comes on this blister card, and he is looking very cartoony with that bright yellow skull, and yeah, very cool. We got the Mattel logo down here. Let's just spin him around and see what we got going on here. So, all right, very cool. Let's, this is really difficult to get to fit on the entire, against my backboard. So, as seen on Masks, plural, of Power, modernizing and celebrating the original 80s Masters of the Universe animated series includes comic book. And as you can see, we have cartoon collection, and we can see the Wave 1 lineup of He-Man, Beast-Man, Man-at-Arms, and Skeletor. And what's interesting is that this seems to be a modernized picture from the cartoon series, and he includes the masks, plural, it's hard to say masks of Power. And of course, these looks like they either fit over his head, or maybe it's an alternate and we unplug the head and plug these back in. I guess we'll find out in a moment. But very cool that they're giving us something from the actual cartoon series. I don't remember this cartoon. Do you? Drop me a comment if you remember the cartoon, because I have no idea. But that being said, let's spin Skeletor back around, take one more quick look at him in the package, and now comes the fun part. Let's get Skeletor out of the pack. Actually, you know what I should say real quick? My package, while it does have the unpunched peg, it came pretty beat up. Entertainment Earth came in a really beat up box. And yeah, it's kind of separating already. So it's a good thing that I'm an out-of-box collector, but let's get Skeletor open and see what this figure is really all about. All right, here we have him. We have Skeletor, the Evil Lord of Destruction, out of the package. And the first thing I noticed is he's kind of in this hunched over state. As you can see, he's almost bent in a position of the original figures. You know how they didn't have those joints in the knees or the elbows. He's almost in that position. Now you can straighten him out, and he is a typical Origin style figure. He has all the normal points of articulation, and there, I'm going to straighten him out to make him look a little more displayable just for this review. And yeah, looking very good. The head is interesting because it is on a ball joint, and this face of Skeletor, let's just zoom in on it. You know, there's some good detail in the teeth there, but it's kind of hard to see since they didn't really put any shading on it, so it's very difficult to see it. But I understand they're trying to go for the cartoon look, and it almost looks like this can pop out. However, it cannot. But yeah, so there's Skeletor, and of course he's like an Origins figure. He's got essentially, I believe, the same buck It might be new. The waist might be new. I'm not really 100% sure. Definitely different arms because it's not the finned ones that we've seen on other Origins Skeletor figures, and it's more cartoony. Obviously with the cartoon upper, whatever you want to call this, suit. The same for this. And moving down, of course, this version is the booted version. He doesn't have the clawed feet. And, you know, he has the typical articulation that you come to expect with the Origins figures that make them, you know, a little more for playability in 2024. Spinning around to the back, you can see this is where it snaps on and off, just right like that. Pops right off if you want to take the web gear off of him, and you see it says 2023 Mattel on his back. And yeah, that pretty much is all there is with Skeletor, but of course Skeletor is more than just the figure himself. If I can get him to stand up, we will go through his accessories. First accessory would be the Havoc Staff, and I believe this is a new mold for the Havoc Staff. Very top heavy, very large. Let me go ahead and zoom in so you can see that ram head. Very large, and we'll do some comparisons with some other Skeletor figures here in a moment, but this is a very heavy ram head staff. It's just, but yeah, it's just cast in purple with this bluish white gray. I don't know what color it is exactly. Ram's head on the top, but very cartoon-esque. He does also come with his power sword. Of course, it is a complete power sword, and it's, you know, it's pretty thick. It's not bendy really. I mean, it's taken me quite a bit just to get that to bend. But as you can see, he does come with a full power sword, and it does look like the cartoon version. And finally, we do get these two masks of power. And I do not remember this cartoon. So if you remember something from the cartoon, drop me a line in the comments below, because I'd really like to know what it was all about. So you can see underneath it, they just unplug, or they just plug into the ball joint on Skeletor's head. And I'll show you that here in a bit when I accessorize him. But yeah, there's one of each. I don't know if it's supposed to be man and a woman, or if it's just supposed to be two elder gods. I'm not really sure. But they look very, very, very cool. Now that being said, as we are done with the accessories, we still have a couple more things to go out. Like most Origin figures, we do have what parts of Skeletor can be snapped off. So, or not snapped off, removed if you want to mix and match and build your own character. Of course, you can remove the boots, you can remove the arms, you can remove the head, as well as the actual, you can unplug the torso, I believe. Interesting that it shows it like that. You can also take off the web gear. It's kind of weird they don't show that, but I guess they are just trying to say these are removable parts. But yeah, so there's that. And of course, he does come with a comic that says He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, Wizard's Vizard. No idea what that means. And yeah, I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but as you can see, it does seem to go through. I don't know if this lines up with the cartoon or not. I have to assume it does. But yeah, we get a nice little comic showcasing Skeletor and He-Man battling with appearances from Man-at-Arms. And then we got the Royal Guard in the last panel, and yeah, it looks really neat. And of course, we have that cross-sell on the back of Man-at-Arms, Beastman, and He-Man included in this wave. So with that being said, let me get Skeletor accessorized, and then we'll do some quick comparisons with some of the other Skeletors that we've seen over the last few years. Okay, I've got Skeletor all accessorized with his Havoc Staff and his Power Sword. And as you can see, he stands up very well with it. No issues there. Didn't point out earlier that, you know, it would have been nice if he came with a couple extra hands. But, you know, for what we need Skeletor for, this is perfectly acceptable. Looks very good. I'll make sure to throw a video up here momentarily of him with the one or two of the alternate faces on. But just to give you a quick little, here's what it looks like. You just simply, I'm going to go ahead and unaccessorize him for a moment. And I'm knocking over stuff left and right, folks. I apologize. So you can remove the head. You can see there's a simple plug right there. And all you have to do is snap on either head of your choice. And there you've got this wacky looking Skeletor with that head on. And yeah, looks kind of crazy. Not a big fan. Sorry, folks. Tickle in my throat. So anyway, plugging the head back on Skeletor, you can see, yeah, I mean, I love this figure. I love the way it looks. But let's compare the Mattel Cartoon Collection Skeletor to two other cartoon Skeletors. First one up will be the Super 7, I guess we'll call it a retro Skeletor. Now, this was their Filmation version of Skeletor that's more based on the vintage He-Man body buck. So as you can see, there's no joints in him. He does come with the classic power sword, the open hand on his left, and of course his Havoc staff, I think, is the big thing to notice. It's much smaller. The ram head is much smaller. It's also cast in a different color. But there you go. What do you think of those two? And not to be outdone, let's just move this Skeletor out of the way, this Super 7 Skeletor, and let's bring in the Super 7 Skeletor that is the Masters of the Universe Classics version. As you can see, this is also their representation of Skeletor from the cartoon series. Outside of being, quite a bit taller, you can see the ram's head staff is again different, and again in that lighter purple color versus the the Havoc staff from the new cartoon collection Skeletor. And this one also includes a battle axe and this sword, which is actually, I believe, closer to the sword that Skeletor used in the cartoon versus this one, which is just a purple version of He-Man's classic power sword. So yeah, let's go ahead and we'll do some moving real quick, and we'll just put them all out here and give you a look at all three of them. And you guys tell me, out of these representations of the Filmation Skeletor, which one's your favorite? Obviously, this one's very expensive to get on the secondary market, and this one you can still find around. It's come out of it's been out enough. I think you can pick it up for, well, honestly, I don't remember. But yeah, that's one's got a little less articulation and kind of scary just with. And another thing they did well with this one is they painted the teeth, which I really kind of wish they'd done on our current cartoon collection Skeletor. But let me know in the comments below what you think about the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoon collection Skeletor, because we have Beastman coming up, Man-at-Arms, He-Man, Teela, and Trapjaw. They will be on the channel fairly soon as Entertainment Earth decides to ship my figures. Entertainment Earth, you can pick these up at. You can also pick them up at Big Bad Toy Store. So there's plenty of places to hit them. They're $20 MSRP, so, not cheap, not expensive, about where they tend to be for Masters of the Universe figures in 2024. But otherwise, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. Otherwise, also, I'm Mark. You've been watching Coffee with Toys, and I will see you later.